Michigan State's Jalen Watts Jackson.
20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 45. There goes Davis.
Oh, my God.
Davis is going to run it all the way back. Auburn's going to win the football game. Auburn's going to win the football game.
Welcome back to another show here at the Ian Fritts Show. I'm Ian Fritts, per usual. Same guy every week. Man, we've got a lot to talk about here in the Week 8 recap show. It's going to be a little bit of a different, layout of the show today. I don't have 2 or 3 games that I want to recap specifically. So I'm going to go through pretty much every game in the top 25, maybe a little bonus game if we get to it. And then we've got the fan favorite segment of the What If poll. But first, man, Week 8. What happened in Week 8? That was some odd football being played in Week 8 of college football. We have OU struggling versus UCF there in the 11 o'clock hour. We've got Texas struggling with Houston down there in Houston. We have Washington in the middle of the night, when everybody's going to sleep. We have them struggling with Arizona State. Kind of odd, but Penix struggled there, out there on the West Coast. And we have North Carolina losing to Virginia, one of the worst teams in the entire country. They go out there and beat a team that jumped in the top 10 last week. Then we have Ohio State making Penn State look like a pedestrian FCS team offensively. However, do want to say this. It could have been a lot worse for some of these teams. Some of these teams could have gone out there and laid an absolute egg. North Carolina did. But OU, UCF, OU could have lost that game easily. If you watch any of that football game, OU could have lost this one. Could have lost this one pretty easily, guys. So could have been much worse for them. It was a letdown day for them, but they found a way to win. And that's really what matters. You continue to win. You continue to move on. That's all that matters. Same thing for Texas. Texas could have easily lost that game against Houston. Who knows if they should have, if those referees weren't blind down there on the sidelines, if they weren't blind making that decision to say, no, it's 4th and 1 when he clearly got half of a yard over the first down marker. But, we're okay. We move on. Refs make mistakes. We make mistakes. I made plenty of them last week in the preview show. But mine doesn't, give a team a win when maybe they should have lost. So it's a little bit different for those officials down there. Washington, what are you doing down there, or up there, I should say, in relation to where I am, up there in Washington? What is that performance against one of the worst teams in college football? You beat them 12-7, 15-7, excuse me, 15 to say you didn't have an offensive touchdown. What are we doing, Washington Huskies? Pitiful performance, but hey, you got out there, you found a way to win. That's what great teams do. Great teams cover, but also great teams win games that are just struggles and just slugging it out, just like a little slug, slowly going through the motions, but they find a way to win. Georgia's done it plenty of times the last couple of years. Missouri last year, they've done it a couple times already this year. So even though they're close, we can't just write these teams off as just obsolete. No, okay, they were frauds. Well, no, we can't say that because every team's going to have a week where, hey, we got to wake up. We got to wake up. Wake up call. That's what these 3 teams just faced this last week. And now Texas has a loss, which is the difference between OU and Washington. However, all these teams, boom, splash the water in the face, splash it in the face. That's what they needed this week. And maybe that goes on to help them in the long run. Maybe these 2 teams go on, hey, we can't just think we're playing UCF this week. We got to go in like we're playing Texas every week if you're OU. We got to go in like we're playing Oregon if it's Washington. We got to go in, hey, let's play our best football every week. Let's go out there and not just lull around and mess around with these teams that are definitely good enough to beat you on a down week. They go out there and do it on a down week, but they didn't. I think these top teams were feeling a little too good about themselves going into this weekend, going into Week 8. All the noise was OU's up there, maybe a playoff team. They got a 100% chance to make the playoff, guys. Everybody, 99%, whatever it was on the ESPN predictor, which I'm not saying that's the law, the letter of the law, but they were up there. They were highest percentage chance to make the playoffs. So I think they're hearing that noise. Hey, look at us. We just coming off beat Texas. We had a week off. We get to relax a little bit. And we're playing UCF coming off 3 losses. They haven't looked very good. You know, we're superstars. We got this defense. Let's go, baby. I think that's what OU was thinking going into this game. And it showed. It showed in their mental mistakes. They had another goal line stand in this game, down there at the 1. They stopped him 3 times in a row. And their linebacker gets up there and yells at this guy on the ground. You can't do that type of stuff in a football game, guys. You know, as much as it is soft, you know, it's a soft little call. I don't agree with it, but these players know that that's a rule, and they know that they can't do that, okay? So I think OU was just coming in there feeling too good about themselves. They're feeling real high. Hey, we're on this mountain. Let's go, baby. Top 5 team in the country, top 6 team in the country. Let's go. I think the same thing happened to Washington. Hey, coming off one of the biggest wins in program history. Michael Penix leading the Heisman. Nobody can get the Heisman except for Michael Penix. That was the talk last week. Just a week ago today, it was over. Michael Penix won the Heisman. He did it. The lefty got it done. And then he goes out there and throws 2 picks against the Sun Devils. What are we doing, Washington and OU? Same for Texas, you know. You guys just lulling people to sleep with your play. I think you guys were lulled to sleep, you know. Hey, Texas, we lost, but we're still up there. We're still a great team. We can go out there and beat anybody. We don't need to have our A game. We don't need to try for our A game every week. That's what Washington, OU, and Texas thought. And let's just go over there, get our binoculars. Nobody was watching this game over on the CW, North Carolina. What are we putting games on the CW for? That's a topic for another time. Nobody was watching that game. Mainly because maybe North Carolina should have blown Virginia out. Probably should have. But OU, Texas, and Washington all got scared this weekend. All of them got really scared. Came down to the final plays in a lot of these games. And they got away with them. Snuck away with a W. But let their games be a reminder to those programs, hey, we're also playing some FBS teams with a lot of talent on the other side of the football, okay? We can't just go to sleep on these teams, okay? And let them look to North Carolina as an example. Let them look over at the Tar Heels coming off their biggest win last weekend, Miami. They got Drake May balling out over there. And then they go to Virginia. Actually, it was a home game. Virginia comes to them. And they think to themselves, oh my goodness, Virginia 1-5. Man, this can... We got a bye week, basically. That's what the Tar Heels are thinking. Hey, we can just play, you know, sleepwalk through this game. That's what North Carolina thought they could do. And came back to bite them. They didn't get through that game. It was horrible. But in the past couple of years, guys, in my opinion, this feels like a year where we've had a lot of top teams being a couple close games, being a few close games. This past weekend, we had a bunch of them that feels like those teams would have lost them in the past couple of years. Feels like we would have had a lot more upsets, a lot more games come down to the wire and go the underdog's way. That's what it feels like to me. But these teams at the top are finding a way to win these tight games against these lesser opponents. And it's kind of interesting. It's intriguing. But I'm kind of missing the upsets a little bit. And in the past, we've had those upsets. And in the future, I think in these next few weeks, these top teams, I think they're going to struggle again. And I think we're going to have some, top teams fall. I think we're going to have, a couple top 4 teams lose a game, top 5 teams lose a game. And I think it's going to be fun for college football. It's going to be chaos, and it's going to be fun to watch, guys. Now, got to take a sip. This weekend left us with a lot of questions. Number 1, who's the Heisman favorite? Who's the guy that we can say, this dude right here, look at him, he is doing it. He deserves it. Ka-ching, he deserves that pose, okay? Ka-ching, who deserves it? Who deserves the pose? Right now, I don't know who we can say deserves the pose. Is it Bo Nix? I don't know. He lost to Washington. Is it Michael Penix? He's got his Heisman moment. Dylan Gabriel, he's got his Heisman moment. J.J. McCarthy, he's the odds favorite right now. You believe that? I don't believe it, but that's true. It's true. He's played a bunch of high schoolers out there. Rutgers is his best win. Now, Rutgers, bowl eligible. They're playing good football, but they're also Rutgers. So it's, it's a balance thing. It's like, can we really say that's a good win? No, we can't. So we got to go out there and say Michigan still hasn't proved, they proved that they can beat up on lesser opponents by 1,000,000 points, and they deserve to be up at the top of the polls because they're annihilating people. That defense is legit. That run game is legit. J.J. McCarthy is a great quarterback. However, does he deserve to be the Heisman favorite? The dude isn't playing anybody, guys. I don't think he does. Right now it should be dead even across the board. Nobody should be a favorite. Now, I don't know if Vegas would make any money that way. I don't know. I don't know how it works. But nobody should be a favorite. Nobody deserves it right now. Maybe Ollie Gordon, the running back from Oklahoma State, maybe that guy deserves the Heisman Trophy, because this guy's stats from the last 5 weeks, guys, after their South Alabama loss, Oklahoma State, maybe I shouldn't mention that, but Oklahoma State playing some sneaky good football right now. Ollie Gordon might be the best running back in college football right now. He rushed for almost 300 yards yesterday. It does not matter who he's running against. He will run for a lot of yards, and he will make Oklahoma State look really good. They still got some things to fix, but Ollie Gordon, maybe he should be in the Heisman conversation right now. I don't know, guys. It also leaves us with who's at the top. Who is the top dog in college football right now? It's a great question. I don't have an answer. You guys don't have an answer. Nobody has an answer. That's what Week 8 left us with. A bunch of questions and no answers. No answers. Now, bunch of questions, no answers. Right now, we've got 10 teams just all surviving. A couple of them have losses, but they haven't lost a game against a lesser opponent yet. We still don't have that. We still don't have one of these top 10 teams losing against a lesser opponent. UNC did it, but they had just jumped in. None of these teams that have been there all year for 3 or 4 weeks maybe, none of those teams are losing these games against these lesser opponents. I think we're going to get that in the next couple weeks. And I think we're going to find out. I think a Heisman dude is going to survive. I think he's going to put himself in the conversation and be, hey, let me do that pose here in December. Let me do that pose in December. And I think we're going to get one of those guys. I think we're going to get some bizarre finishes in the next few weeks. And it's going to be fun to watch. I'm expecting a lot more upsets. And it's going to be fun to watch. Now, let's get into my picks recap. It did not go well for us here at the Ian Fritts show. It was pretty much of a disaster of a weekend. Now, as I said, it was an odd week for college football. Nothing really went my way. Nothing really went anybody's way. Nothing made sense, guys, okay? Nothing made sense. It was kind of shocking to see what had happened and then what went down for college football, guys. So it's sad. I just got to throw it up there. It's probably already up there. You're seeing this and you're like, man, Ian, you sucked this past week picking games. And honestly, I can say you were correct in that assessment of my picks. We went 6-10 this past weekend, guys. Safe to say, it's our worst weekend yet. I didn't think I was going to win a game all day. It didn't feel like it. Oregon was, I think, my first win of the day, and they were making me not believe in them in that first half against Washington State. So let's just get into it. Let's go over all the picks here. I've got them here. Michigan, thank you very much. Michigan State is one of the worst teams in all of college football, and you showed why. You put up 49 on them, and J.J. McCarthy inserted him as the favorite for the Heisman Trophy. Now, deservedly so. Jury's still out. But, I mean, you can't fault the numbers are good, but he's also playing nobody. So Michigan continues to dominate bad football teams, which is what you're supposed to do. So I guess good for Michigan. That was a good pick for me. Penn State, Ohio State. Okay, all right, here we go. Maybe I should have led with this one. I don't know. Wow. Ohio State, congratulations. You guys have 2 great wins on the season. I think we can say that. Notre Dame, Penn State. This game has the stud muffin for this week, guys, and it was kind of a struggle to find a guy that I think deserved this muffin this week. But we're going to give it to Marvin Harrison Jr. It would have been a shame if he got through his final season in college without a stud muffin performance, but he's getting one. We're going to ship him his muffin. 11 receptions, 162 yards, and a touchdown. It could have been a lot better for Marvin, but he balled out against those good cornerbacks down there at Penn State. And he had a great game. He without him, I don't know if Ohio State wins this game. They probably do. Penn State is inept on offense. Ohio State held Penn State to 1 of 16 on 3rd down. 1 of 16. Yes, I said that correct. They got 1 3rd down conversion the entire game. How did they score 12 points? How? How did they even get 12 points? I don't even know. And I watched this game, and it was boring. Let me be honest with you. This game was not very fun to watch, okay? We thought this was going to be the game of the year, maybe the game of the century. I don't know. But this game sucked. To be honest with you, this was not a fun game to watch. I was sitting there and I was like, why am I watching this game? Well, I have to because the people want it. Let's just move on from that game. Ohio State, congratulations, 7-0. You guys continue to do it. Penn State, you guys maybe a couple weeks ago, James Franklin was asked in his press conference, why don't you guys maybe just throw it downfield. Maybe throw it 50 yards and just say, hey, wide receiver, go make a play. And James Franklin was like, that makes me queasy. It makes me queasy at what you're saying right now. Just throw the ball, just chuck it downfield. Well, maybe that reporter wasn't so dumb after all, James, because you guys need to figure something out offensively. It's not good. I feel bad for Drew Allar. It's a pitiful performance for you guys so far. Get it fixed on offense. Ohio State, congrats. You guys are 7-0. Keep winning. You might run into a steamroller of Michigan here in a couple weeks, but we'll see. Duke, Florida State, okay? I had Duke covering this game, and I was incorrect. Duke did not cover, and it looked all game. They led 20-17 going into the fourth quarter, guys. I was like, hey, we've got this one. At least I was right on this one. It makes me feel good. And then Riley Leonard goes down, and Duke decides to go for it on fourth down. And instead of kicking field goal at the 12-yard line or whatever, completely disagree with that, Mike Elko. You guys you got your backup quarterback. You need as many points as you can get. Just kick the field goal. Just kick it and make us all feel better. Make my pick feel better. They ended up losing by 18. Florida State continuing to find ways to win. I don't think they played particularly well in this game. I think if Riley Leonard didn't get injured, I think Duke wins this football game. So Florida State finding a way to win. They says 18-point win, but it was not that large of a win if you watch this game, guys. So pick was wrong. There we go. Okay. All right. Here we go. Washington, Arizona State. Kind of touched on it earlier. Got to take a sip. Also, we don't have a straw this week. I decided that I didn't deserve a straw. I didn't deserve that luxury after how bad my picks were this week. So back to just sipping from the cup. I don't deserve a straw today. Sorry, guys. Washington, Arizona State. Now, I don't feel that bad for this pick, mainly because nobody saw whatever happened with the Huskies on the football field last night. Nobody saw it because it's at midnight, but also nobody saw it coming. What? Michael Penix, 275, 2 interceptions. Polk, he had a good game, but what are we doing? What are we doing, Washington? Just a big hangover from last week? That's all that we can say here. I give you you got the win. You found a way to do it. Pick six gave you the win, basically. So, whatever. You won. You found a way to win. Okay, all right, good for you guys. UCF, Oklahoma, kind of touched on it earlier as well. It was major letdown spot for OU coming off their big win against Texas, and they found a way to get a win. I'm not excusing how they played. They had some big busts in coverage, big busts in the run game, mental mistakes. It was not great from OU yesterday by any means. They know it. We know it. Everybody in the country knows it. But they found a way to win. But the pick was wrong. OU let me down big time. First time all year they haven't covered. Same with Penn State as well. Texas, Houston. Okay, Texas also didn't cover. Let me down again. We're getting to a stretch here where it was not good for the picks, guys. It was not good for the picks. We lost, 5-6 in a row there. It wasn't great. And I've made a mistake, ladies and gentlemen. I have made a mistake. Oregon, Washington State. I had thought Oregon covered this game. They did not cover this game. And so I was actually 5-11 this week. So that's pretty unfortunate for me. It's coming to me right here on spot. I thought they covered, and I just looked at the line that I had it at, and we did not cover. They won by 14 and not 20. So I don't know how I made that mistake. So I feel even worse now. I don't even deserve water, to be honest with you. So let's move on. Oregon failed to cover. Terrible. Virginia beating North Carolina. This is inexcusable if you're Mac Brown over there with the just powdered blue jerseys that are just always good looking. How do you lose to 1-5 Virginia? This team hasn't beaten an FBS football team all year, and they go into your place. Granted, there were no fans in that stadium. How does North Carolina not have any fans in their stadium? What guys? You have a top 10 football team. Not anymore, you don't. Blech. After that performance. What are we doing, UNC? You guys got to be better. You can't lose to Virginia. Not at home, not anywhere. That team's horrible. All right, Tennessee, Alabama. We have got to talk about this one because I was feeling really good about myself about this pick. If you remember in the preview show, hopefully you watched it. If you didn't, no big deal. You're watching right now. That's fantastic. Tennessee was up 20-6 at halftime. If you know the final score of this game, that means, do the math, boop, 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 boop. 27 straight points scored by Alabama, okay? How? What? How, guys? What happened? What happened? Tennessee, Josh Heupel, why are you making me feel so bad? Why you gotta do this to me? I thought you guys were gonna win this game. It looked like you guys were gonna win this game by a mile, by a long shot at halftime, okay? And then you come out there 2 times in your own territory, you go for it on 4th and 1, and you don't get it. Think. You got a big lead, punt the ball. Punt it away. Give your defense some better field position to work with. Don't let Alabama have a short field. What are we doing? It makes me sad. We lost this one too, guys. So if you're counting in a row, how many picks did we lose here? Penn State, 1. Florida State, Duke, 2. Washington, Arizona State, 3. Oklahoma, UFC, 4. Texas, Houston, 5. Oregon, Washington State, 6. Virginia, North Carolina, 7. Alabama, Tennessee, 8. 8. I can't even count. I'm so dumbfounded about how bad we did yesterday. We lost to 8 picks in a row. That is not good. Okay? That's why I'm not even going to take a sip from the jar, from the cup, whatever it is. The rest of the episode, that's a lie. I'm going to because I'm going to need to take a drink. Anyways, Ole Miss, Auburn. Thank you, Ole Miss. You covered 6.5. Barely, but you did it. Thank you very much, Ole Miss. I don't really care about that game, to be honest with you. Utah, USC. USC will no longer be in the AP Top 25. They don't deserve it. They are not a very good football team, and they showed it again yesterday, letting a pig farmer beat you on the ground through the air. It was a fun game to watch. Caleb Williams. I've heard the rumors he's not going to play the rest of the season. Guys, he's going to play college football the rest of the season. That doesn't make any sense. He would not take it off. That is a horrendous take, okay? Utah continues to beat USC. Lincoln Riley continues to lose to teams that are ranked in the top 25 with good defenses. So, we had this pick. Hey. 2 in a row. Let's go, baby. Ole Miss and Utah, we were both all over those picks. So good for us. Make me feel a little bit better. Now, this might have been the worst pick of the weekend. Army, LSU. This one hurts. The line was 30, okay? The line was 30. The final score was 62-0. I was way wrong, and it hurts right here. It hurts my heart, hurts my head. It was bad. Jaden Daniels is an absolute stud, guys. Whenever they play Alabama, he very well could win the Stud Muffin Award. It could very well get himself a Heisman Trophy. We'll see. I don't know what else to say, guys. It was a bad week for the picks. Bad week for me. Missouri, South Carolina. Wow. Okay. Missouri offense continues to be really good. However, South Carolina's defense is bad. Defense looked pretty good in this game, though. So we were right on that pick. Good for us. Hey, good for us. Air Force, Navy. Spread was -11. They won by 11. So nothing we can do. Push. I almost just want to count it as a win for how bad this was. We might. You know what? We are 6-11 final. I'm counting it as a win. You can do what you will with that information, but I need it, and that's what we're gonna do. 6-11. Okay. Tulane, North Texas. Just a pitiful day. Guys, we lost this one. Tulane won by 7. Horrible. Minnesota, Iowa, we got screwed over by some bad refs this weekend. Maybe the worst call of all time. He was telling his guy to get out of the way. Hey, the ball's coming over here. And the ref's like, I don't know. Fair catch? No. We would have won. Made myself feel a lot better. We didn't. UCLA, thank you very much for stomping on Stanford's throats. We won this one because of your defense again, per usual. All right, enough with the sad part of the show. We got the fan favorite segment, the What If poll. Here we go, baby. Here we go. We're starting it strong. Let's get into it. Number 24 team in the country. Say it with me because there are not 25 teams that deserve to be ranked. We've got the North Carolina Tar Heels, okay? And you see that number right next to their name? Yes, they dropped 16 spots, a whopping 16 spots from where I had them last weekend. You can't go out there and lose to Virginia. You can't go out there and lose to the Cavaliers, okay? It just absolutely cannot happen. It cannot happen. And it did. So we're dropping them 16. The What If poll is all about movement. We're all about this, up and down. What we have seen, we rank them based on what we have seen. What we've seen from North Carolina as of yesterday, They deserve to be number 24, okay? Tennessee, we're dropping them 6. Why? Because they didn't score a single point and they let up 28 points in the second half. You can't be doing that if you want to stay your spot in the what-if poll. If you want to stay up there, you got to perform well. And they didn't. The Volunteers sucked up in the second half. We can't be having that in the what-if poll. Still in the what-if poll because I still think they're a good football team, but dropping them 6. Up 3 from unranked, we've got the Kansas State Wildcats, okay? I think the Kansas State Wildcats are going to go to Austin, Texas here in a few weeks, and they have a very good chance of beating Texas Longhorns. Very good chance. Maybe we're going to get the pick in early. You know what? We're calling it now. Kansas State Wildcats will beat the Texas Longhorns in 2 weeks' time in Austin. Here we go. Bold prediction now. We've got it in. They've got a guy there at quarterback now. They're kind of doing this dual quarterback system where you got Will Howard throwing the ball and you got Avery Johnson running the football. He's got his long hair flowing out the back of his helmet, long and curly. He could be in a Head and Shoulders commercial here in a few weeks. I don't know. Maybe he will be. We've got no information on that, by the way, so don't be spreading that rumor. But he's got his long curly hair flowing out of his helmet, just running down the field. And Will Howard, we got him throwing the ball. They're finding something up there in Manhattan, Kansas, by the way, with the Wildcats. So up 3 from unranked. I like what they're doing. James Madison, up 4 from unranked. They're undefeated. It's a good story. We've got them in the what-if poll for that reason. We like what they're doing. Louisville Cardinals, off week, up 1, whatever. I don't really care. You guys are, sure. Up 1. UCLA Bruins. We kind of, here's what the UCLA is doing for me right now, guys. They win big, and they win convincingly. We move them up. And then they lose, and we move them down. We're kind of ping-ponging, hitting them back and forth right now with the UCLA Bruins. And so we're moving them up 5. I like what they do. Their defense still continues to be one of the best defenses in all college football. And I think Dante Moore's settling in. And I like what I'm seeing. Duke Blue Devils, we're only moving them down 1. Now, you may say to yourself, Ian, they lost by 18. And I'm going to say back to you, you are correct. However, Riley Leonard got injured. And based on what I saw yesterday, they win that game with him in there. Okay, they win that game with him in there. So we're only moving them down 1. They lost, but we're moving them down 1. Notre Dame Fighting Irish, moving them up 2, bye week. Continue to just do nothing on their bye week, which is what you should do. So moving them up, maybe they lose next week. I don't know. Air Force. Good for you guys. It's a great story. Air Force Academy. I like what you're doing. Up 1, undefeated. You guys have a chance to make the playoff, believe it or not. 12-team playoff, they're almost a lock at this point. But that graphic has been up there for a while, so at this point you see that I've dropped Penn State and Nittany Lions to number 15 in all of college football. Dropped them 11 spots from where they were last week. And deservedly so, if you ask me. Why? Why, Ian? Why did they drop 11, Ian? There's no way they're the 15th best team in the country. Maybe they're not. But that's not what the what-if poll is. It's not the best team in the country. We're ranking them based on what we've seen. And what we've seen as of yesterday, as of the most recent games, their defense, good. Offense, what? What is it? What are you doing? It's so hard to watch. It is so hard to watch. It's one of the worst things I've ever seen on my TV screen. And I hate it. So you're 15th in the country, James Franklin. Give me a call, and I'll tell you how to call your offense because it is bad. It is bad. All right, here we go. Got to take a sip. It's up there right now. 14th team in the country. Just a little side note here about the Missouri Tigers, which are the 14th team in the country. Up 6 from where they were last week. I love their logo. It might be a top 5 logo in all of college football. It is just a great logo. I love it. I love the way it looks. I wish more logos were as good as that one, to be honest with you. So I like their logo. Enough said about that. Why are they 14? Well, Brady Cook, Luther Burden, those receivers, those running backs, they deserve it. Okay, they're a great football team. Offensively, defense is starting to get things going. And they're only lost to LSU, who I have at 13 right now, right above them. LSU up 2. Jaden Daniels continues to be incredible at football. So those are 2 good football teams offensively, 2 of the best teams in the entire country. It's fun to watch those teams play. Now, up 2 from last weekend, we got Utah. Now, what we've seen, they've only lost the 1 game, but they're a good football team. They're a good football. Defensively, still sound, still good. They got a lot of injuries. It's beneficial now. Cam Rising will not be coming back to play college football this entire year. So they got that pig farmer back there, and he's tough. He's a tough little sucker. That's all I really got to say about Utes. They're not going to make the playoff. They're not going to win the Pac-12. They're not good enough to do any of that, but they're a solid football team. I wouldn't want to play them, if I'm being honest. Ole Miss Rebels, almost cracking the top 10, the Rebels. Almost cracking the top 10. Up 2 from last weekend. Good for you guys. Good for you guys. Getting a good win down there in Jordan-Hare. Tough place to play. Oregon State Beavers, moving them up 1. They continue to do nothing on their bye week, just like the other team that I mentioned earlier, just like Notre Dame. And it's smart. It's smart. Don't take on an opponent in letdown week of week 8 when you can just take a bye. Smart by you guys. Good. I like the strategy. Beavers, moving them up 1. All right, top 9. Here we go. You see it right there. Alabama Crimson Tide. They're coming. They're coming. I said it a few weeks ago. If you're watching the show, we're calling things a few weeks in advance. I said if they could get that offense going, and they did. That second half, they figured something out. I don't know what they figured out. Nick Saban, I don't know what he gave them. I don't know if he gave them drugs or something in the second half, but it got them going. It got Jalen Milroe and that offense flowing. It got that defense flowing. And it was fun to watch. It was fun. Well, it was sad to watch because I had Tennessee winning that game. But it was fun to watch because Alabama's coming, and I wouldn't want to play them. We got a fun one a couple weeks from now. Is it next weekend? I can't remember exactly, against LSU. So that's going to be fun to watch. College football is just, it is great right now. It is great right now, okay? Texas Longhorns got them above the team they beat. Have to. But we're moving them down 1 from what they did yesterday. Not great to watch. Probably should have lost that game if that official had his eyeballs open. So we're only moving them down 1 because they found a way to win. Can't fault them for the officials being blind. We got the Oregon Ducks ahead of them, moving them up 3. Now, they didn't cover, the Ducks didn't. However, guys, they found a way to win. I mean, Cam Ward, he's a great quarterback, guys. And Oregon struggled with them early, but they pulled away, and they basically covered. So we're giving them up 3. They're a great football team. Florida State Seminoles, we're moving them up 3 from what they did yesterday. Now, I really think they would have lost if Riley Leonard played for Duke if he played the full game. However, it doesn't matter. I can't fault Florida State for something that happened in the game. I can't fault them for that. So we're moving them up 1. They look, they're still a really good football team. So that's why we're moving them up. That's why they're number 6 in the entire country in the what-if poll right now. So I'm not faulting them for that. So we're moving them up 3. Good for you, Florida State. Washington Huskies. Okay, let's talk about them. We got to move you down after what happened last week. And I believe the graphic is actually incorrect. So we may fix that. We may not. I don't know. They were number 2 in the country. So we're only moving them down 3. But you can't go out there and have that performance against the Arizona State Sun Devils. You just can't. You just can't with the Heisman favorite. Not anymore. You can't do that. So we're moving them down. And that's what we like to do. Now, the what-if poll is not future projections. I'm not saying if we have Washington, Florida State tomorrow, I'm not saying Washington goes and wins that football game, although I think they do. I'm not saying that. What we're saying in the what-if poll is, hey, we're ranking these teams based on what we've seen, and it changes week to week a lot. We have a lot of fluctuation because that's what teams do. They fluctuate. So that's how we rank it, okay? Washington, dropping them down 3. All right, OU. Now, some of you are saying, Ian, you cannot possibly have OU in the top 4 still. Well, I can and I do, and that's what we're going to do, okay? Look, Georgia has struggled this year. Ohio State struggled this year. Washington just struggled. Alabama's lost a game. Florida State struggled this year, okay? So I'm dropping them 3 because they deserve to be dropped a little bit after their performance yesterday against the UCF Knights, okay? However, they also have the best win in all of college football. Penn State is not the best win in all of college football if you're Ohio State. However, they have 2 really good wins, so that's why they're number 1, okay? Georgia up 3, they're bye week, whatever. They're still solid. I don't care what people say. They're still a solid football team, and they're still winning football games, even on their bye week. Michigan Wolverines. How do I have Ohio State jumping over them? Well, I have Ohio State jumping over them because they beat a top 10 team again. So they've got 2 really good wins. Michigan has 0. Obviously, we're going to see these teams play. Is it going to be the top 2 teams in the country? It very well could be. So that's the top 4 guys. Ohio State, 2 really good wins. That's why they're number 1. Michigan, up 1 from last week. Number 2, they're just steamrolling opponents right now. Georgia, up 3, didn't play. I don't care. Up 3. They're a top 3. They're a top 3 team in the country. You can't convince me otherwise. OU, down 3. That's the top 4. As of right now, those are the 4 teams that deserve to be in the top 4 based on what we've seen, based on what the what-if poll algorithm is telling us. And Week 8 recap, guys. It was a show. It was a little bit of a different show. It was a sad show for a little bit of it because we sucked in the picks last week. The research department didn't do their jobs. They didn't see this crazy week coming. There's always a crazy week like this in college football. There's always a week 8 out there, and most of the time it is week 8. Most of the time it is during the middle of the season when these teams are in a lull, and it wakes them up. Splash the water in the face. OU, Texas, and Washington. I expect them to bounce back next week. It's going to be a fun last home stretch for college football, guys, going into November in a couple weeks. It's going to be fun to watch. Thank you for watching this video. If you wouldn't mind, get Grandma's phone, get little Johnny's phone, subscribe, like the video, send it out, share the link, get somebody else's phone, get as many accounts as you want. Subscribe to this channel, guys. Follow on X over there. We were having some good tweets over there yesterday. It was a fun time. Follow X, subscribe, guys. I love you guys. Thank you for watching, and I appreciate it. We'll see you in the preview show. Got a big one coming up for week 9. I love you guys. Bye.
Whoa, he has trouble with the snap, and the ball is free. It's picked up by Michigan State. Jalen wants Jackson.
25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 45, 30.